There are so many great pairs of true wireless earbuds now, but a big problem many of us find is that there are barely any that are good for sleep. There are some that are designed for sleep, like Bose Sleepbuds II, which we featured on the channel last year, but one crucial flaw in these types of products is that they don't let you stream your own music. You're stuck with a library of white noise sounds and can't listen to your own podcasts, audiobooks, or other relaxing sounds. So Soundcore's new Sleep A10s caught my attention, because they're not only tiny earbuds designed specifically for sleep, but they also let you stream audio from your phone so you can listen to whatever you like. So if you need a pair of earbuds that you can actually fall asleep with, these might well be what you've been waiting for. So unboxing first, and as usual, these are beautifully presented. You get a little tips card to introduce the main features, but I'll explain each of these in full in the video. You also get a nice selection of different sized ear tips and ear wings, which is great because everyone's ears are different, and a secure and stable fit is essential if you're going to sleep peacefully through the night. We can then get a look at just how tiny the A10 earbuds actually are, which makes it all the more impressive when you see what these can do. We then have our puck-shaped charging case, which has a smooth matte textured finish, a USB-C charging port and pairing button at the rear, and some soft white battery LEDs at the front. The lid slides back on a satisfying magnetic hinge, similar to other Soundcore cases, which makes it easy to store and retrieve the earbuds. Rounding off the accessory list, we have the usual paperwork, and finally a USB-C charging cable for the case. So this is how the A10s look. You can see that outer surface matches the case design, and these look really nice, and the way these work is through a 4-point noise masking system. Firstly, the noise isolating ear wings combine with the twin steel ear tips to passively block out the noise in your surroundings. And then internally, there is a smart noise masking chip, and finally the drivers produce noise masking sound, and have been tuned specifically to do so. So I'm sure one of the main questions people will have is, do these use active noise cancellation? And the answer is no. There is a noise masking system instead, where the earbuds physically block out sound by sealing your ears, and also producing a white noise sound further helps to block unwanted noise. The first thing you want to do is to experiment with the different ear tips and wings to find the perfect fit for your ears. This may mean having a few trial sleeps to figure out the best combination, which for me has been the wingless rubber grip with the medium ear tips. This gives a tight and secure seal deep in my ear canal, and this alone is enough to provide a strong grip so they don't move about in my ears during the night, but also excellent passive noise isolation to block out most of the disturbing noise in my environment. You can see how discreet the earbuds are in my ears thanks to their tiny size, so much so that side sleepers may find they can actually lay directly on the earbuds comfortably at night. This is the key issue with regular true wireless earbuds that prevents most people from being able to use them for sleep. Now this comfort level will of course vary from person to person, and may take some adjustment to find a comfortable position in your ears with the right ear tip size. I personally can lay directly on these on my side, but it did take a few days to get used to sleeping with something in my ears. Now though, I find myself drifting off wearing these every time, and not once have I woken up during the night because of them either. So I think Soundcore have done an excellent job with the design aspect for comfort, but your mileage will of course vary. So to access the full feature set, you'll need the companion app, which sensibly is Soundcore's regular earbuds app. And basically, there are two different modes for the earbuds, music mode and sleep mode. Music mode essentially lets you use the A10s as regular earbuds. So whatever music you're listening to, audiobooks, videos you're watching, all of that audio streams to the earbuds via Bluetooth. You'll see that there's an equalizer here, which has all of Soundcore's usual preset options, including bass up mode, and you can save multiple custom EQs as well. You can also customize the double tap command on either earbud. This is the only control available on the earbuds directly, and although there are options for volume control and skipping tracks, from a practical standpoint, you'll probably just want to leave them as they are, which is switching between modes on one side and pause play on the other. So even though you can use the A10s as regular earbuds, a limited feature set and tightly restricted controls show that these are really designed for sleep. There's no single tap function to avoid accidental touches, there's no wearing detection in case an earbud falls out during the night and interrupts your listening, and the double tap requires quite a firm tap to register the command. So it's limited, but does make sense for this use case, and I've certainly had no accidental touch issues during the night, even when laying directly on them. Then if we navigate over to the settings, you'll first see the toggle for Smart Switch, and what this does is when the earbuds detect that you've fallen asleep, they will automatically switch to sleep mode and then turn off the current audio source. So you can fall asleep listening to your favourite podcast, safe in the knowledge that the earbuds will pause your content and then activate sleep mode themselves. So far, I've been pretty impressed with how this works. I was once sat in bed reading, and after an hour or so, the earbuds switched over, presumably because I was sat so still. But I've also worn these for hours while sat working at my desk, and they stayed in music mode. So they're obviously not going to be perfectly accurate in detecting that you're asleep, but it's a really handy feature to have, and has so far worked every time that I've actually fallen asleep with them. You can always resume the sound if you're not quite asleep yet with a quick double tap, but if you want to make sure sounds play through the entire night, you can always turn Smart Switch off. You can also toggle the prompt tone, so that's the sound that's played when you tap the controls, and you can have this be silent if you prefer. Then we have Sleep Reminder, which just gives a pop-up on your phone to remind you to get some sleep. So if, like me, these don't coincide with your regular bedtime, then the feature is pretty useless. A custom time option seems like a no-brainer to me. You can also see the options to update the firmware, and there are links to the user guides. But the coolest feature here is the personal alarm. You can only set one alarm at a time, but what's so good about this is that it syncs directly to the earbuds. So even if you disconnect from or even switch off your phone, you can still be woken up by the alarm in your ears. And best of all, it doesn't disturb those around you either. The sound is an inoffensive beep that you can dismiss either in the app, with a double tap, or by placing the earbuds back in the case. So this is a feature I really like, but there are a few things I would change about it too. Number 1, there's no customization, so you can't change the tone or even the volume of the alarm. I personally find it just about loud enough to wake me, but I imagine that some may find this a bit too quiet and may actually sleep through it. I think what would be good is if it gradually increased in volume until you stop it, so I hope to see Soundcore add some more customization for this. Secondly, despite an online FAQ mentioning a snooze function, this doesn't seem to be an option. The alarm didn't repeat once, as it says here that it will, and since you can only set one alarm at a time, I would like to see some form of snooze function added. And thirdly, just something to point out, that the alarm needs to be set each time you want to use it, and once you place the earbuds back in the case, it won't remember the alarm, so you'll want to toggle the alarm off and on before you go to sleep to make sure it's active. Going back to the homepage now, you can access the sleep library either by tapping on Fast Sleep in the middle here, by swiping left, or by tapping the first tab, and here you can select from a library of relaxing sounds that you can use with the earbuds. There are 31 sounds broken down by various categories, ranging from bird sounds to rainfall and crashing waves to more typical static noise. You can preview any of these sounds, and they're designed to play on what appears to be a continuous loop by subtly blending the transition. It takes around 40 seconds to sync one of these sounds to your earbuds, but once you've done so, you'll then be able to listen to this in sleep mode even if you disconnect your phone. So that's the key difference separating music mode, where you stream your phone's audio, and sleep mode, which plays your synced sound directly from the earbuds. As with lots of sleep earbuds, you can only sync one sound at a time due to the limited space on the tiny A10s. But it's great to be able to sleep with one of these sounds playing without being tethered to your phone and draining your phone's battery throughout the night. Since you're not using Bluetooth in sleep mode, you can extend the A10's battery life from 6 hours in music mode to 10 hours in sleep mode, so that should be enough to cover the entire night for most people. The only time I've had this be an issue is where I've spent a couple of hours in music mode before going to bed. After falling asleep, the smart switch feature did automatically activate sleep mode, but unfortunately they didn't quite have enough battery to see me through until I woke up, as I later learned when the alarm didn't sound in my ears. So that is something to watch out for if you want to rely on these waking you up as well. I find them great for falling asleep with, which is ultimately their main purpose, but I wouldn't trust them to last through till the alarm every time. That's just one of the drawbacks of not being able to fit a huge battery inside the earbuds. The case, however, can, and actually fits a week's worth of charges inside, which I guess explains why it's so big compared to the earbuds. The only other thing I wanted to see is wireless charging support, but sadly it's USB-C only. Another function these have is sleep tracking. So if you swipe right in the app or tap the third tab, this is where you'll see your sleep data. It breaks your sleep down into deep sleep, light sleep and wake time, and it's pretty interesting seeing the results. But as with any sleep tracker, you need to take these results with a pinch of salt. It's never truly accurate, and I don't think the data is quite as reliable as my smartwatch is, for example. I managed to rack up some deep sleep time whilst wearing these and writing this review, but if you just use these for sleep, I think you can still get some useful data from them. So now if you tap on sleep mode, this is another way to switch from music mode, and you'll now find that you don't have access to some features like the equalizer or the controls. Notice that you now have a volume slider, and this is important because now that you're listening directly to the earbuds, you can no longer use your phone to adjust the volume. This is a separate volume that you set individually just for sleep mode. The first thing I noticed is that the general volume level is much lower. I can comfortably listen at maximum, for example. And I understand this being capped at a lower level since you typically don't need to listen as loudly when you're trying to sleep, and this also helps to extend the battery life. It's certainly loud enough for me since my bedroom is basically silent at night, but I do wonder whether this will be loud enough for those in a noisy environment. Remember, there's no active noise cancellation here, so you're relying on the earbud's noise masking feature to block out noise. The passive noise isolation is very good, but I think it would be good if Soundcore could give the option of increasing the maximum level in a future update. You'll also see the smart noise masking feature, which in principle is excellent, as once you've fallen asleep, your phone will automatically adjust the sleep sound volume according to the level of external noise. So that concept is brilliant, and I love the idea that the earbuds are intelligently adapting to your environment to give you a consistent night's sleep. However, from my experience, it just doesn't seem to work. Every time I've tried it, the volume just seems to fade very quickly until the ambient sound stops altogether. I tried simulating different levels of noise in my environment to see if the earbuds would adapt, but I just got the same result every time. Now this wasn't a deal breaker for me since the feature is supposed to activate once you're already asleep, and my room is quiet so I don't really mind that the ambient sound stops. But it's disappointing that this promising feature didn't work as I hoped, especially if you plan to use these in an environment where the noise level fluctuates. So if you actually want to ensure ambient sound plays the entire night, then until Soundcore improves this, you'll want to turn off smart noise masking. I also want to cover some of the main specs you'd normally see with earbuds. So firstly, these are IPX4 rated, which is actually really good news, since if you sweat during the night with these, you're not going to break them. They feature Bluetooth 5.2 and use the SBC and AAC codecs, so connection stability and range hasn't been an issue at all, but I do think the latency is a bit high for videos when you're using these in music mode as normal earbuds. There's also no mic here for phone calls, so they will be limited in their use cases, but you could easily use these during the day as well. I also want to mention the sound quality, because this is still an important aspect even for sleep earbuds. It's interesting because the actual driver quality is very good, surprisingly good in fact. If you listen to music with these, you'll hear a really smooth, pleasant, good clarity sound. There's not a whole lot of detail or treble, but we know the drivers are designed for those low-end sleep-friendly frequencies. So there's actually a decent amount of bass and volume here too. I could happily use these as my daily earbuds, and they actually sound better than a lot of regular earbuds out there right now. When you consider how small these things are, they're quite impressive, and I can't see anyone having any complaints. However, when it comes to the sleep library sounds, the quality really drops off. The lack of clarity and that spacious quality that helps ambient sounds to become immersive is missing. You don't get transported away surrounded in ambient sound like I'd hope, and this is exactly what I found with Bose Sleepbuds as well. The volume drops off quite a bit too. As I said earlier, you can easily listen at maximum, and even that may not be loud enough for some people. I think the reason for this is that the sleep library sounds are lower in quality. They have to be to keep the file size small and allow them to be stored on the A10s directly. Whereas if for instance you played a similar ambient sound off of YouTube in music mode, it sounds great. So it's not the drivers that are the problem, it's the sleep library files that aren't as high quality as I'd like. This will of course vary depending on the sound you choose, and none of them sounds bad. But I think the higher quality you get with third-party apps will encourage people to use these in music mode with their own audiobooks and other soothing sounds. Now that's a perfectly fine way to use the A10s, and you'll still get the benefits of Smart Switch, the alarm, and of course that comfortable design that lets you fall asleep with earbuds in the first place. But remember that you'll have to keep your phone connected for this, and you won't get as long battery life either. So the Sleep A10s are retailing for $180 or £157, although there is a discount on these right now, so make sure to check the links in the video description for that. My initial impression is that the price is fairly reasonable for what you get, but it's kind of hard to contextualize the price for two reasons. Number one, like I said in the Bose Sleepbuds review, it's kind of hard to put a price on a peaceful night's sleep. Some people really struggle with this, and if this product helps you to sleep when others failed, well, some could argue that that's priceless. And secondly, this isn't really a market full of options. There simply aren't many great earbuds for sleeping, so it's hard to evaluate the true value for money, though these do undercut Bose Sleepbuds II in price. Even without the price advantage, Soundcore Sleep A10s have three major benefits over Bose. 1. The in-ear alarm, 2. Sleep tracking, and 3. The biggest one by far, the ability to stream your own audio. I think that's going to be the deal breaker for most people. On the whole though, I'm really impressed with what the A10s offer. Pairing a great design with an expansive feature set, I can safely say these are the best sleep earbuds I've used yet. They're not without their flaws, like the limited customization and the poor implementation of smart noise masking, so there are some improvements I'd still like to see in a Gen 2 of this product. I think a Find My feature where you could ping the A10s from your phone would be great. That could save you from rifling through your bedding in case you lose an earbud during the night. But if you're looking to try out a new pair of earbuds for sleep, Soundcore's A10s should definitely be on your radar. I hope this video has been helpful, and if so then please give it a like because it really helps out. Leave any questions you have down in the comment section, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when new videos go live. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.